Boom! Welcome to Choppin It Up Show, episode number 8. Thanks, man. I'm here with Dr. Fabi. Crazy story is because we're on the same network now, so we're like basically like the same family. So I seen his Instagram, I heard a lot about him, a lot of good things. So I decided to sit down with him because he needed a haircut anyway. So, Dr. Fabi, how did you get into what you do? Explain to the people what you do and stuff like that. Go ahead, man. The camera's all yours, bro.
No, I mean, first I want to say thank you, man, for having me on your show.
Appreciate
of course,
it,
cutting my hair, but super excited for this, because we share a lot of the same interests.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're my cousin,
Yeah.
I mean, we're both Filipinos, so we share a lot of that. There's a lot of similarities.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In terms of how we grew up and stuff like that. So, no, man. Yeah. I mean, again, thanks for having me. So I love the title
thank
of
you
the
for
show.
taking the time out, man.
Chopping It Up. Check it out. I like your Instagram feed. It's I can see you got passion for what you do. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from me, I'm from Chicago originally. We talk about, you love the Chicago Bulls. That's
Bullies,
my squad
baby.
too. So I love that you sport the Chicago Bulls hats. So definitely,
You gotta rep.
definitely support that. So yeah, I mean, much like you, Filipino family, you're first generation, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of pressure. They want you to do well academically, all that stuff. My mom was a doctor, so she always pushed me towards that route. Because Filipino culture, you have to be in healthcare, right?
It's a safe bet. The safest bet. I don't understand who taught them that.
Yeah.
But that's the theory.
Yeah. There's no other option.
Yeah.
It's like basically and if you become a doctor, it's better than being the president, right? So anyway, so my mom always pushed me towards that route, and I'll say initially, and for a long time, I was probably doing it for her. Because I had other aspirations. I wanted to be in the NBA,
we're gonna return to that. So you want rewind a little. So you wanted to be in the NBA. All right, cool. All right.
But we're not blessed with height, right, Filipinos?
Yeah, man, we're Manny Pacquiao people.
But we can jump.
The calves are freaking
thick. So fortunately, I got into medical school and stuff like that. A lot of challenges along the way. A lot of times where I questioned it, whether I had the skills, whether I had the intelligence to make it, and fortunately got into medical school and saw my first hip replacement in my third year of medical school, and that's where I found my passion. That's where I fell in love. It was love at first sight, and I was so grateful that I found that passion, and it's come full circle because right now that's what I do, hip and knee replacements, and I don't think I'd be doing it with as much energy as I'm doing now if I didn't love it. I think that's obvious.
I think that's with anything, right? It doesn't have to be occupational wise, just
anything
in general, right?
Anything. Yeah. I mean, because that's where your energy comes from, is motivation, inspiration, and passion. And if that's not there, you can get that energy, but it's not going to be long lasting, or it's not going to be optimized, right?
I don't think it'll show in your work too, right?
For sure. Yeah.
If you're not into that stuff, you're just following emotions and stuff like that. I believe in any profession that you'll see the type of work that you could produce.
Yeah.
When you're just going through the motions. All right, so let me backtrack a little bit. So, doctor.
I mean, piggyback what you're saying before I lose the thought. But I can tell by your work, man. You're an artist. You appreciate the product that you're putting out.
I
right?
really do.
Yeah.
Of course. This is my resume, man.
Yeah.
You walk out of here or you go outside and people will look at that and they're like, oh, that's a good haircut. Or that's a bad haircut. I hopefully it's not the latter.
No.
But and I like all my clients and customers, I tell them, man, it's a state of mind. It's like that moment you get a fresh haircut.
Oh.
That week or two or however long it takes for everything to grow back out, it's just like, you feel like a whole new man.
Yeah.
You walk with a different swag, your whole attitude could change. So I really value that because as a male too and as a man, I've been in the chair.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. So to deliver that feeling, to give someone else that feeling is such a dope thing to do,
Yeah. That's awesome.
It really is.
It's true, man. No matter who you are, when you get a fresh haircut, you're good. You know?
Yeah, you're good.
Life's good.
Anything bad could happen after that, but you're
Yeah.
like, at least I'm fucking fresh, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
at least. You know,
Yeah.
like, let anything happen, whatever.
So sorry, I interrupted your question.
I know it's cool. So,
Yeah.
okay, so like, medical field, doctoring was,
Yeah.
or being a doctor wasn't in your stars, in your mind. So let's backtrack to young Dr. Fabi, or
Yeah.
before Dr. Fabi. What was you said MBA? Like that was like how you were feeling?
Yeah, well, you know, was it? It was always kind of in the back of my mind, you know, to be a doctor, you know.
Okay.
And I kind of knew that was my path. Let's just say I wasn't entirely crazy about it, right?
Okay.
But yeah, growing up, you know, I was a big skateboarder, you know, so there was aspirations. I wanted to be a pro skateboarder.
Oh, okay.
And then I found basketball,
Uh-huh.
and that coincided with the Bulls dynasty and Michael Jordan. Because growing up in Chicago, it's easy to be a Michael Jordan fan.
Of course.
And you know,
Freaking God over there,
yeah.
man.
I mean, when you witness greatness, that attracts you.
Oh, no.
Because like when you don't see that often, you know. So like you want to be like that person. So yeah, you know, I practice night and day, thinking I'm an NBA, but like. Yeah, as we talked about before.
So how tall were you at that point?
I'm not blessed with height. I was probably, you know, this was high school, junior high. I was probably like 5'6", 5'5".
Okay.
You know.
Well, you still had time.
You can jump out the gym. You know, I've dunked a few times. You know, but like.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I found football. I played football in high school. I think what kind of really curtailed my dream of NBA is I got cut from my freshman basketball team.
Oh wow.
And kind of gave up on that dream because I found football, but maybe that was an excuse that, you know, I accepted the defeat there. And another thought that I just had is that like developing my skills, I would practice, you know, till like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. every day, but I don't think I was doing it the right way, meaning I didn't have a mentor. You know, I was going to courses, I was trying to learn on my own. So when you try to learn stuff on your own, you know, it can take a long time, and you might not do it the right way. So
that's true because like you don't have the insight of another person.
Exactly. I don't know if I'm doing the right things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that's just a thing. That's a man thing. Like, yo, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it like this and I mean, there's some type of satisfaction though, like if you accomplish something on your own.
Oh, for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
For sure.
So I guess that that could come into play too. So football, basketball, and you're a skateboarder.
Yeah.
Wow. How did your parents feel about that?
It went through phases. Yeah, I mean, they were crazy about the whole skateboarding thing. You know, the whole time they were resistant to it. I don't think they ever thought I'd make it a career. You know, I also wanted to be in Hollywood and stuff like that, but you know, I always said I was going to be a doctor to kind of appease them, right?
they would leave you alone.
Yeah, but I know if I pursued something else that they wouldn't have supported that.
Really?
Or initially, it would have been tough.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I didn't really experience that. I think one subconsciously I was just non-confrontational and just wanted to kind of make them happy by pursuing that route. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like after high school, going to college.
Yeah.
How was your mind frame? What direction you were going to?
Yeah, I mean, and so I think like once I got into medical school, like I think I was committed at that point.
Okay.
You know, there were times where like I wasn't happy in medical school. I'll tell you, my first semester in medical school, like I almost quit just because like one, I was depressed, and two, it was like a total 180 from my college lifestyle. You know, because college, like it was fun. You know, we were going out all the time. You know. But the time commitment for medical school was like at least double. Jeez. And I wasn't on a college campus, you know, I wasn't with like, you know, all my friends like you were in college. So, and then I would just tell my mom, I'm like, you know, I said a few times like, you know, why did you make me do this? You know, I'm doing this for you. But yeah, I mean, luckily it kind of came to that point. Again, I'll mention when I saw my first hip replacement because that's a day that I'll always remember, that I remember vividly, because I knew I was home when I saw that. And whereas like, you know, throughout, I didn't know if I was going to find that in medicine. So yeah, I mean, big moment, big pivotal moment in my life.
So what was it about that hip replacement, you watching it, that made you say like, you know what, that's what I want to do?
Yeah. It was just like all the hardware that was involved. You know, you got tools, you got saws, you got drills. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. You know, I always knew I was gonna use my hands. I always knew I wanted to be a surgeon. But when I saw that, like, it was like, you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to get all like whatever, you know, male, female, but it was like testosterone filled, you know, and I think it was very mechanical, and I love that part. So, and plus just the whole idea of replacing a joint with metal and plastic, just something about that just has a lot of pop to me. So.
Would that like, would you think because you're such a sports fan, like the hip and knee replacements, like, yo, that's like part of sport, like, yo, maybe I could do this because
yeah, you know,
there's some type of relationship, no?
No, I mean, that's a great point. You know, I'll tell you, you know, the first time I came across an orthopedic surgeon, I was playing football because I had bad shoulders. They'd always dislocate, and then I had to go see an orthopedic surgeon. And then I witnessed that, you know, this was a different language of medicine that I didn't even know about. Because, like, up until that point, you know, I thought it was all just, you know, managing high blood pressure, diabetes or whatnot, medicine, you know, doing surgery on the abdomen or the stomach or whatever. But, like, I never really thought about that orthopedic aspect. And I thought that was cool, you know. And I could see also that this surgeon was happy, you know. He didn't seem like overly stressed out. He really enjoyed what he was doing. So I was like introduced to that, and then like, yeah, I mean, sports injuries are orthopedic injuries for the most part.
Yes.
So there was an attraction to go to orthopedic surgery because it usually attracted those people that were like into sports, those medical students that were into sports. So that was another thing. So yeah, that was a great connection, like you said, for that.
Wow, that's crazy. So how long have you been practicing this, that you've been in the, I guess, in the field?
So, I mean, I graduated, no, I finished all my training at the age of 32. I'm now 42. So now I've entered my 11th year of practice, but it's crazy. Man. Yeah, how fast it's gone. Right? You know, I can't believe it's been 11 years. But yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, but it's been so worth it. You know, I'm helping lives at the end of the day, helping human beings. And plus, like, I'm just loving where this field is going, you know, because medical advancements in general are always pushing, always.
Oh no, always advancing,
always innovating, you know. So I love that aspect of it, and especially these days with technology continuing to skyrocket. You know, obviously all that stuff is coming into the medical field, and I think being a part of that is something magical, you know, because like. I'd say maybe 20, 30 years ago, technology wasn't moving at the pace it is now.
Oh no, this is like a skyrocket.
Yeah,
like legit.
Like what would take 50 years before to develop, now it can take 5 years. You know, it can take.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy.
How crazy. So like transition from that, like how has technology in your field helped you, or made it worse, or made it better, or scared you? Like, you know, what are your thoughts on that in your field currently?
I think, you know, one. Particularly with what I do, you know, robotic surgery is really coming to the forefront.
Oh shit!
So we're doing robotic knee replacements, robotic hip replacements, and it's something that I got onto at an early age because I saw, you know, at an early time, you know, before it got a lot of kind of notoriety, because I saw the vision in it. I saw that the potential in it, and right now that's starting to come to fruition. Because, you know, what we do, no matter what you do as surgeon, you gotta be precise, right?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's what surgeons and precision, you know, they have to be married together. And robotics can get you to that precision that you need to do, you know. And, you know, one of my colleagues made a great point. He's like, name me any industry where robotics entered and ultimately it was taken out.
Why is that?
It wasn't working. I can't think of any field. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, because like the auto industry, right? They used to do a lot of it was handcrafted, mechanical.
Yes.
But once they introduced robots, game changer.
Yes.
And then they're not going to take that away. So like, I believe that's what's going on in orthopedic surgery and hip and knee replacements. That it's not going anywhere. So I love that aspect. And then now virtual reality, augmented reality, is starting to make its way into space. Artificial intelligence is already kind of making its way into medicine to help diagnose, potentially help us with surgery. So all that stuff that you see in the outside world is coming into the medical world, and I think that's awesome. So Also telemedicine, where we're able to do virtual visits with patients. I think that has a lot of benefits, especially now with coronavirus. Patients really like that. So those are areas where technology has really helped what we're doing in terms of patient care. What's the flip side of it? The flip side of it, now
that's what I want. That's what I really want.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna take over your job or what?
I mean, of course, like the more data you have, potentially the more cumbersome things can be, right?
Okay.
And if you have those platforms where you can compile more data, there's almost an expectation of that. Or like, in terms of, we got to document a lot for medical legal purposes, for reimbursement. And then now that there's platforms to be efficient with your documentation, now they're expecting more volume of documentation, which can be cumbersome, So other things, we talk about patients being Google doctors, they'll come in where like,
I think I might be that.
Hey, I do the same thing. So I don't fault people for that. I think it's important that people do have knowledge going in.
Yes.
It's how you interpret that knowledge. I don't have a problem with it, because I can talk people through that. I think it's a good resource to have. I'd say in general, I would say a lot of doctors can have issue with that because, sometimes you get a patient coming in convinced that they know what's going on.
Sure.
It's all about communication and. If you kind of just talk to them and tell them whether they're right or wrong, in the right way, it's going to work out. But that can be a little frustrating sometimes.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Have you deal with clients or patients like that?
Yeah.
They're just like, no, Dr. Fabi, this is definitely what's wrong. You're a doctor, boy. What the heck?
Yeah. And I appreciate it. I'd probably be guilty of it too. But I get a lot of patients like that. I'll tell you a prime example. Because now with technology, a lot of medical technology is going straight to the patient. So kind of like all that stuff like marketing straight to the consumer, right? So prime example is what we call anterior hip replacements. It's where you're doing hip replacements. In terms of dissecting down to the hip joint, you're going through the front of the hip. Classically, we also always used to go through the back, kind of like in the buttock area. But when it first came out, I think a lot was based on marketing, but there's a lot of value in anterior hip replacement, which is what I do right now. But, when it first came out, patients, because of marketing, thought it was like the best thing since sliced bread. So they come in demanding that's the way it be done. And if you didn't do an anterior hip replacement, they're not gonna go to you or they're not gonna want surgery with you.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think initially for a lot of surgeons, that was frustrating, because in all honesty, a well-done hip replacement is gonna do well. Whether you do from the front, the back, the side, from the top, there's pros and cons going each way. Where the differences lie is your first 6 weeks after the operation.
Okay.
So, needless to say, I say all this, but now I do anterior hip replacements because I see a lot of value in it, because I see the recovery is a lot quicker in the first 6 weeks. And, I transitioned from going to the back to going to the front because I'm like, okay, if I can do it as well through the front than through the back, I'll go ahead and do it. And now I think I do it better through the front than through the back. So that's that. But there's a lot of people that it's kind of like, now they're shopping. And I think they should. I think they should, because, they want to seek out, it's good to have more knowledge because as opposed to say you go to a mechanic, right? And you haven't done any research on that mechanic and you don't know that shop is known for being shady. I think it's good that word's out there.
No,
whereas
course, yes.
You can do research and you see these Google reviews saying, this shop is very ethical, very good. So I think there's benefits in that ways, but of course it can always slide the other way. So.
All right, so to your point with that, I don't want you to name drop any doctors or something.
No.
Like that, but do you know? Not know, man. Or have you seen fucked up procedures that you had to fix, or like people that you've seen, like, yo, why are you doing this? Or you're like, you know, why would you go about like that when in your mind you see it as like wrong and that's not gonna help, but other doctors might see this is the only way.
Sure. So, I'll say in general, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, right? There's a lot of different ways to do the same type of surgery, a lot of ways to do a knee replacement, a lot of ways to do a hip replacement. I'll say, as surgeons, we're humans, right? We're not 100%. We don't bat 1,000. Our field goal percentage is not 100%. Our free throw percentage is not 100%, but like we want to be there, but we're humans. We're prone to human error, or it's not even human error. There's a lot of stuff that's out of our control, so. Yeah, I got a lot of patients that come to me, had surgeries from another surgeon, and they didn't go well. So I got to redo them.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know there's some of my patients that are out there. It's the law of averages, But yeah, there's certain surgeries I come across where I say, oh my gosh, what was this person doing?
Yes.
Which may be my initial impression. I don't potentially know all the details behind it, but yeah, unfortunately, there's people out there that maybe are doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that's an extremely low percentage.
Thank God.
Yeah. And there's some people that just certainly are better than others. So, and it all goes back to experience, talent, of course, and talent can always be developed with hard work.
Okay, when you say talent, what do you mean by talent? Like,
so
what would come into
I think in general, right? And I do a lot of reading. I'm just kind of take it to a more global scale.
Okay.
Like, we always use that. Oh, this person's a natural.
Yes.
Or this person just has natural gifts. That's true to a certain extent. Linus. It's okay, he's part of the show.
Special guest.
That's my comrade. That's my agent right there. But that's also been kind of challenged. Like certainly, like me or you, we're not 6'5". We're not born with that body type to be able to
play
basketball, right?
Yeah.
But what's in our control is to develop those fundamental skills. And a lot of those people that we consider to have natural talent, they kind of came from somewhere when they were growing up.
Okay.
Whether it was like I'll use like an example of Lewis Hamilton. I'm a big car racer. He's like a 7-time world champion and Formula One racer. People say he had natural talent, which I'm sure he did, but like a lot of that talent came because he started young.
Okay. So he's just putting the reps.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. He started at the age of 4.
Oh, wow.
And there's some people that don't have the talent, but you can always just develop that talent. It's just time and task. Linus, stop it. It's that 10,000 hour rule.
Oh, yeah. That's a crazy rule. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
You become a master or something like that, right?
Yeah. It's like that.
At a certain point in time.
It's like that Asian kid violinist, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that Asian kid just picked it up and all of a sudden was just pure magic. From Asian, what went into that, right?
Yeah.
That's like their parents telling you work around the clock.
Drilling you.
Yeah.
Before and after school you get paid. They paying for some lessons and stuff like that. So there's a lot of time involved in that. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So throughout my training, like going back and piggybacking to how it relates to surgeon thing, when I was going through training, there's a lot of people where like I was intimidated. I'm like, oh, this person has natural talent that I don't have. This person has better hands than I don't have. But a lot of it's a mindset, because like your hands work better when you believe. And at that point, at a young age, I just didn't believe. Well, I was in insecurity, but like. Once I worked on developing that mindset and also putting that time and task, putting in those 10,000 hour rules, the talent develops. And I think, unfortunately, some people don't choose to focus on that aspect to continue to develop their talents.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some people doesn't come easier to them than others. Yeah, there may be a history behind that as to why it comes easier, but yeah, I've seen it, unfortunately, like when luckily I'm able to have the opportunity to educate other surgeons, teach other surgeons, and they also, you know, I'm able to learn from them as well, and like, you know, I see like what they're kind of flossing in terms of surgical skills. I'm like, how is this happening? You know, but hey, if they're getting their job done, they're getting the job done. It doesn't have to look pretty as long as it's getting done right. So, yeah, I mean, there's people out there, you know, and just like, for example, like if someone came to me with an ACL rupture,
Okay.
yeah, I could do an ACL reconstruction, but there's a lot better people out there than I can do it. So I'm going to refer them to those people.
That's humble of you, because some people say, fuck, I'm going to take all this. I'm going to do it regardless.
No, exactly.
Right?
Whereas some people can't turn it down.
Yeah.
You know, one, they're maybe not as busy, their surgery schedules are not as full, so they kind of have to cast a wider net in terms of what type of procedures they do. But fortunately, you know, I'm pretty much just sticking to hip and knee replacements, and my volume is heavy that way. So I don't necessarily have to do those procedures. So I don't know, I'm getting pretty long-winded here. I'm going on tangents.
No, that's cool. This is information otherwise people won't know.
Yeah. Because like for you, right? How much time, how many hours have you put into your craft?
So for me, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Years, man.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just like one of those things, like, from what I understand, when I remember hearing that phrase, 10,000 hours,
Yeah.
it's 10,000 hours doing the same exact thing over and over.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I'm pretty sure I put more than 10,000 hours in cutting hair in general.
Yeah.
But doing the same fade for 10,000 hours, probably not.
Yeah.
Or the same comb over or whatever for 10,000 hours, probably not. But, you know, just knowing the fact that I put that much time and effort into that, like,
Yeah.
this is one of those things like you were saying about talent. I don't think I was the most talented barber when I first started. I was trash. Matter of fact, I used to mess up my boys' haircuts and hairlines and stuff like that. But shout out to my boys, man, for giving me the opportunity to cut their hair. You know what I'm saying? Because that helped a lot. Because like you said, also it helped build that confidence, right? The more reps you put in, and even until now, like. I joke around like, yeah, I'm not the best, but I'm like, yo, I tell you, I'm a beast, bro. Like,
you're gonna get the job done.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get it done. Hopefully better than like, you know, 80-90% of the other people. But you know, if there's someone better than me, show me. And if that guy or girl is better than me, I'd like to learn. I want to know why they're better than me. I want to know.
Man. I got chills.
You know,
hear that.
like, but seriously, like, you know, because at the end of the day, like, in whatever field you are in, you know, you want to be the best at that, I would think, right? You know.
Yeah. Otherwise, what are you doing? What are you doing then, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, for you as a surgeon, like you were saying earlier, like, you know, you want to see how these people perform these surgeries. You want to see how they attack this, you know, this type of surgery, or what's their theories, or what's their mind looking like when they see stuff like that. So, going into that, like, what do you think your strengths as a surgeon compared to other people you've seen or other things? Like, why would people want to go see you instead of another surgeon that specializes in like knee or hip stuff? Like, why would I like, doc, why would I want to go to you? Why would someone recommend me to you?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, hey, you know, I love that, you know, because like, I'm beast mode too. You know, it's like, I'm always looking to be better. You know, complacency is not in my DNA. No. You know, like, exactly. You know, and if there's, you know, I'm very competitive by nature, and that was always with me, you know, as far back as I can remember, even in kindergarten, you know.
Wow.
So, yeah, I remember, and I'll tell a funny story, like, one time, like, my kindergarten teacher called my mom for, like, a parent-teacher conference, and she thought I was in trouble and what like that, and whatever. Her name was Mrs. Miller.
Wow, you remember your kindergarten teacher? That's awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome. I remember all my grade school teachers.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's kind of crazy. That's a talent.
Yeah. For some reason, after that, I started dropping off. But in terms of who I remember, but so she pulled aside my mom, and she's like, you know, Mrs. Fabi, do you know how competitive your son is? And she's like, yeah, I kind of do. And she's like, well, you know, he always wants to be first in line in everything. And the other day, you know, he was in first in line, but he had to go to the bathroom so bad, but he didn't want to lose his place that he peed in his pants. Because he didn't want to lose his place.
That's a crazy
True
story.
True story. So,
I'm surprised that you're sharing that, but it's a crazy story.
So I think that's always been in me, just the competitive aspect. But, you know, as I've gotten older, as I've, you know, evolved, hopefully I think I've evolved, that, you know what, it's better to be competitive with myself
Okay.
You know, because yes, I want to be the best at what I do. But I think it's better. It comes from a better space. You get more passion, more motivation. Be like, you know what? I want you to be the best that I can be, right? Because when you're trying to like land blast, when you're trying to bring the other person down, you know, that's negative energy.
Oh no.
You know,
definitely.
but like when you're trying to build your own self up, you know, that's positive energy. And I think when you come from that space, that you know what, I'm just gonna be the best that I can be, and oftentimes, in terms of that pecking order, that puts you towards the top no matter what. You know, because it's the right frame of mind to have. And if you're looking to be the best that you can be, and you believe that as a human being your potential is infinite, because I believe it's infinite in all of us, and there's multiple countless people that have proven that, you know, you can take it to the stars. You know, you can take it, you know, the sky was never the limit, right? It's beyond that. So
yeah, it's just a fucking a point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what I got. Beast mode. You know, there's another good thing, and you should read this book, bro. Tim Grover.
Tim Grover. Okay, who is this guy?
So he was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. But
he was on that the thing.
Yeah,
right? Okay,
yeah.
right.
But he's more than just a personal trainer. He's like the mind coach, like the life coach. He's got this book out, like one of my favorite books of all time, called "From Good to Great to Unstoppable."
Oh.
So I'll DM you that. I mean, dude, you'll love it. He talks about 3 types of people. He talks about the cooler, the closer, and the cleaner.
Okay.
And particularly as it relates to athletes, but as you know, like the athletic field, a lot of those skills just translate to life, right?
Yes.
Discipline, dedication, passion, all that stuff. So he talks about 3 types of people. There's the cooler, the cleaner, and the cooler, the closer, and the cleaner. So the cooler is that person, that athlete, that person at your job that will do their job, but they do the bare minimum, right?
Okay.
Like I said, they do their job, they do the bare minimum. You know, they don't do more than what's asked of them. That's your bench player, that's your role player. Then you get the closer. The closer is, you know, someone that can be great, can achieve greatness. You know, they're clutch when the game's on the line. You know, at the end of the game, whatever, take the last shot. You know, run a comeback football drive as a quarterback. But that closer also does it for personal gain. They do it for notoriety. They do it for the fame, right?
Okay.
Whereas the cleaners are the ones that can become legends. You know, they're not just clutch at the end of the game. They're clutch all the freaking time. Like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. You know, they weren't taking a play off, right?
Yeah.
They never took a game off just because they had to rest. You know, they did it. They played the game because they respected the game and they knew it was right. And they also knew that, you know, there could be a kid in the stand that paid money to come watch them play, and they could inspire that kid to achieve greatness. And they're not going to disrespect that because it was the right thing to do.
Oh, that's fucking shit.
So they don't. Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily do it to be famous. Like Kobe Bryant, he didn't care what other people really thought about him.
He didn't. No, he really didn't.
He didn't. Michael Jordan, he was great to the press. You know, he was a lot better working with the press than Kobe. But as you can see now, he was never comfortable in the spotlight because he doesn't like the spotlight. You know, ever since he retired, he's been out of the spotlight.
Yeah,
if you've noticed, right?
Yeah.
Because at the core of him, he's kind of more isolated, kind of more private individual. So those guys, they're doing it because it's the right thing, because they respect the game, and it's that cleaner that can become legend, can become iconic. So when I read that book, that's the thing. Like, you know what? I want to be a cleaner. You know, I don't want to be a closer. I want to be a cooler. I want to be a cleaner. So anything that I'm passionate about, whether it's family life, friends, car racing, being orthopedics, you know, I'm gonna be a cleaner. I'm gonna adopt that cleaner mentality. You know, so yeah. And, you know, it's like when you're doing something when the lights aren't on. You know, when people aren't watching.
That's a big thing,
you're
right?
in the gym till like 4 a.m. You know,
That's a big thing, right? People see success as an overnight thing.
Yeah.
But you know damn well that's almost impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah.
Like, you know, like it might have been.
It's not impossible.
It might have took them that one night for them to become a legend or whatever. But like you said, they don't see those countless hours that they were in the gym or wherever they're at, the library or wherever the case may be. They were there for freaking like you know, 48 hours straight or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah. No, because if you do a deep dive into their story, you know there was just grinding, just grinding behind it. You know, so
yeah, it's non-stop, relentless.
yeah. I mean, exactly. So you know, going back to what you were saying, is it too hot in here?
No,
you guys good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. All right. Going back to what you said, you know, why would a person come to me? I'd say number one, it's passion. You know, passion for what I do as a hip and knee replacement specialist because I love it. You know, it's fun. You know, it's not something that I just do as a job. You know, this is something that like just it fulfills me. The surgeon's minus. All right. On top of that, you know, I'm in this game for the right reason. It's because I love people. I'm a people person. You know, like I'm a man of service. You know, I'm here to help. Awesome. I'm here to help the fellow human being, and that's real. You know, that's not just spitting words. And I think you know my patients will attest to that. I think I like to be on the level with my patients. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want them to put me on a pedestal. You know, I think better communication, better outcomes come when you're kind of more on the level.
Oh yeah,
and of course there's got to be respect going back and forth. But you know what? If we're not communicating, we can't bring out the best results in each other. You know, so
well, that's a good one.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, I pour when a patient has me, they have me. You know, like when they come to see me, I'm there. You know, I'm present. They got all of me, and like each interaction I have with a patient, I want to make sure that I'm bringing it that like 110% of me, whether it's in surgery or seeing him in the office. You know, so like with my surgeries, I know there's a human being on there that entrusts me to do something that's pretty violating, and I'm not going to disrespect that. You know, that person's not another number to me. That person is a son, is a daughter, is a father, is a mother, all that stuff. And not only is that patient counting on me, their family's counting on me, and my team. So I'm gonna pour my heart and soul into that. And you know, I'm always looking to progress, always looking to see what's the best that's out there. You know, I'm not doing this for greed. I'm not doing this for notoriety. You know, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Hey, you know, like financially, you know, great, comfortable, but you know, that's not my primary purpose right there. And yeah, I mean, one of my quotes is I want to leave a legacy in terms of helping others leave their own legacy.
Oh,
whether that's my patients, whether that's Patrick here, whether that's my man here, you know, I know you guys are doing great things already, and you're going to continue to do great things. But yeah, that's what I'm all about, you know. So, and I want my gravestone to say that here's a human being, here's a man who gave life and everyone his all, his everything, you know. So yeah,
that's crazy.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like sometimes like people in the medical field they don't feel that way. Or they don't, you know what I'm saying? They do it, I feel like they do it, I'm gonna be a doctor because I know they make mad money, I'm gonna go play golf now. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's easy to get jaded. Right?
Yeah, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? It's easy to get jaded.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks because, I'm not gonna lie, man, like, yo, like doctors, they to me, I feel like, I guess you could see if they're not genuine.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Right?
You know, yeah, I mean, if you can sniff that out. Most people can sniff that out, you know, especially if you got some type of street smarts to you, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can fake authenticity for a short time, you know, but, you know, you're gonna get found out.
Yes.
Whether, you know, it's just reading a person or, especially with technology these days, social media, whatnot, you know, word's gonna get out, word of mouth is gonna get out. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's just, and I think it's in any field, you get people doing things not for the right reasons. And there's a lot of challenges in medicine. You know, it's easy to get jaded, easy to get cynical, you know, because it's tough, you know, all the long hours, you know, the risk of getting sued, people not being entirely grateful for what you do can get a bad sour taste in people's mouth, and you know, burnout is huge among physicians. Also, just the lack of fulfillment in their careers, and I think, yeah, unfortunately, it's rampant. And then, yeah, people can get sucked up into the money and the status, like, oh, I'm a doctor, you know, and people like to, you know, piggyback on that. But I think a lot comes back to, you know, who you are as a core human being. Mm-hmm. You know, what's your value? What are your values? What's your ethical structure? You know, and I think everyone's goal in life is to obtain the right values, increase their values,
I would hope so,
right? Because like, we all gotta sleep at night, and I think eventually the bottom falls out if you're not living an honest life. Mm-hmm. You know, because at the end of your days, you know, you're gonna be like, that shit catches up to you. You know, that doesn't.
It really doesn't
go away.
It's just sooner or later. It's just a matter of time.
Or it may manifest indirectly as like, you know, people getting heart attacks, people getting like high blood pressure because something in your soul is telling you this is not right. You know, but some people don't recognize that, unfortunately.
Damn, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Hey, you know, yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, I got caught up in that when I first started my career. You know, I think it's human nature. But luckily, I came to the revelation that, you know, this is just not in line with my heart and soul. And ever since then, you know, life has been more abundant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what got you out of that funk? Was it you or somebody else, or like? Yeah. Did you see something on TV, or you read something cool, like, oh, you know what, I'm fucking up right now?
No, yeah. No, I mean, I got to a point in my life where, like, you know, I hit a wall where, like, is this all that there is to life, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't happy. You know, I was, even though on the outside things look good. Okay. You know, like material possessions, whatever, you know. I think a low point also is like when I got divorced, you know. And luckily, you know, me and my ex-wife were like great friends, which I'm entirely grateful for. You know, but I think that was a rock bottom for me, and I had to kind of just look inside myself and be like, you know, like, what's up? You know, I can continue to go down this path, a bad path, or I can continue to go down this path. And, you know, luckily I had that eureka moment where, like, you know what, I got to step up. And continued challenges will happen, and as they happen, as they've happened, you know, I just know, like, eventually I'm gonna rise, you know. So yeah, I mean, I think that was my eureka moment, just because, like, I just had enough was enough, right? Like, I was at a point in my life where, like, enough's enough. And yeah, and luckily at that point that was just like a God shot for me to, like, you know, get up off your ass and start doing something about it. And that's just investing in myself. Because I always thought, like, when I got to a certain age, when I quote unquote made it, automatically I'd be feeling good about myself. Automatically life is good, but that didn't happen. Because it's an inside job, it's not an outside job.
But so, see, that's the thing, right? Like, it being an inside job, a lot of people don't even turn to themselves. No. Right? They blame other people.
Victim mentality.
Other things or whatever the case may be. I find that crazy and inspirational because you dug yourself into a hole and you climbed out of it yourself. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying that you don't need help, but, you know, some people might need help, but for you to be able to do that for yourself, that's a big thing, man. Yeah. It's a big fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, we all go through our shit in life, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, and I'm grateful for all the shit that I've been through. You know, like, I don't swear often, and sometimes I do, but, like, I do this for emphasis, because, like, you know, I've seen hell. I know what it looks like.
See?
And, you know, all this, when I got divorced, also coincided with, you know, I failed, like, an important exam in my career, which put my career in jeopardy, you know, like, where I could have lost it. But, like, it almost defeated me, but, like, luckily I had that last ounce of energy to take it back the other way. You know, because luckily life has afforded me, no matter how close I get to quitting, it's just not my DNA. So then I just kind of I doubled down, I tripled down, I quadrupled down, you know, just to really just kind of, you know what, rise from it like a phoenix. And but it's those times where like it makes me appreciate my career, what I have, that I'm not going to disrespect that, but then more importantly, it made me appreciate what I have inside, you know, not what I have outside. Because hey, we can all be in the most, we can all have the biggest house, the nicest cars, or we can be in the coolest spot in the world, but we can still be unhappy, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. I mean, the goal in life is like, if you're on the street, you should be happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're like in the middle of Antarctica, I don't recommend it, but like, I mean, that's the goal in life, that you're happy, you know, but yeah.
I mean, to each their own. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of goals, right? Doc, there's this thing in your living room over there.
Yeah.
There's a freaking steering wheel, and I can't really see what's going on. Explain to me what's going on over there, man.
Now you're gonna see me light up, you know. So like, you know who David Goggins is, right?
Hell yeah!
That's my guy right there. So
shout out to David Goggins, though.
Yeah, we're gonna meet you eventually.
Yeah,
so
hell yeah.
We'll get you on a Chopping It Up
Yes,
podcast.
I'm just gonna shave your head bald. You know what? I got you, bro.
Yeah. So you know, he talks about finish lines, right? There was this one great post he talked about how an NFL player came up to him and he was like, "Yo, Goggins, you know, how do you keep your dog mentality?" And he's like, "Let me flip it back on you. You know, what was your goal growing up?" And he was like, "To make it to the NFL." He's like, "So you made an NFL, so now you're there, so that's your finish line, right?
Yes.
So now you're complacent." He's like, "For me," and I'm paraphrasing what he said, you know, "I'm always trying to find new finish lines." So my new finish line is car racing. You know, that's and it goes back to
like Formula One or NASCAR type shit.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you, you know, Formula One. You know, I don't believe in impossibility, but like, you know, once, and I'm 42. You know, Formula One. Once you're past 35, you start going down towards the tail end of your career. You know, so is that a lofty dream? Yes, I would love to be in Formula One.
Okay.
They're the top 20 racers in the world. You know, a lot of those guys started go-karting. You know, they developed their skills from go-karting. You know, usually at the age of 4 to 10. You know,
there you go, putting in the reps, right?
Exactly.
Putting in the reps.
So, you know, where I see an opportunity is world endurance racing.
World endurance race. Okay,
Yeah,
you might have to explain that a little bit.
Or like just endurance racing in general. So what that is, you know, and NASCAR is kind of similar to Formula One. You know, stock car racing is not something I'm entirely passionate about. You know, these guys, they go around in an oval. And like, you know, just the look of the cars. And it's fun. They go around, circles. But that's not something that speaks to me. I like going around corners and managing that, you know, like elevations, all that stuff.
Oh wow, like a real course.
Yeah, so like when you see, like there's a 24-hour Le Mans, you know, it was in Ford versus Ferrari. That was the end race that they were in. So that's the type of racing that I want to do.
Okay.
And so you get your Porsches, Ferraris, you get your Lambos, you get Aston Martins on there, but they're the race car versions of those cars.
Okay.
So that's what I'm shooting for. You know, my lofty dream, people think I'm crazy, is to race on the 24-hour Le Mans. You know, but
24-hour?
Yeah.
So you're driving 24 hours?
So you're with a team of 3 drivers.
Okay. So you split it up to like what, 8 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on, you know, who's your better driver. So this is where I see an opportunity. So that team it consists of 2 pros and an amateur.
Ooh.
You know, so these pros obviously they put a lot more time on task than I would. So I see an opportunity as an amateur driver to get on that. But hey, I'm always going to go for pro too. So
why not, man?
Yeah.
Like you said, yo.
I'm not gonna set limits. You know, so that's what I want to do is endurance racing. So that's the goal. So right now, over this last year, I got really committed to this goal. I'd say about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. So it goes back to that 10,000 rule. It's just like I'm putting the time. You know, like every other weekend, I'm on the racetrack.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're out there really racing?
Yeah. So I mean, right now I'm not in formal competitions. What I'm doing is what's called track days, where you get on the track with multiple cars and. You know, you're not racing for a trophy, but of course there's going to be competition that happens no matter what. Like you compare lap times, or you're looking to pass the person in front of you, you know, overtake the person in front of you. So that's what I'm doing to develop my skills and just to develop what we call racecraft, meaning getting used to traffic, finding ways, strategizing as to how you can pass this person, whether on the corner or on the straightaway.
Ah.
So that's what I've been doing. My goal was to do 100 track days for the year 2020, and I've hit that.
Nice.
And
Congrats.
thank you. And it's not only me doing one track day a day. I'll run in 2 groups, so it's almost like I'm doing 2 track days in one day.
Wow.
And then I'll do a weekend, so I'm doing 4 track days in one weekend as opposed to, just 1 or 2 track days. So I'm making up for lost time, so to speak.
Okay.
Because the way I'm thinking about it, I'm coming from behind, so I got to catch up because I got into this game a little late. So on top of that, that racing simulator that you see is like I can't be on the racetrack all the time, right? I can't be on it 24/7, so that's my track time away from the track because I'll get on my racing simulator and put in the seat time that way. And on my racing simulator, I have the 24-hour Le Mans circuit, the racetrack.
Wow,
So,
like the actual racetrack.
Yeah. So I'm already kind of implanting in my brain, both consciously and subconsciously, that here I am racing on the 24-hour Le Mans.
What?
And I want to perfect my lap times, know every inch, every centimeter, every millimeter of that track before I get on that track live.
Mambo mentality, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going back to being a cleaner, and so that's what's motivating me. That's one of the things that motivates me because it's one thing that I can't stop thinking about. And when you're obsessed with something in a good way, I don't want you to be obsessed about bad things, but you got to roll with that. You don't want to let that dream die with you, right? At least at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I gave it my all, and I can live with that. I can sleep with that.
So to get to this Le Mans thing, as an amateur or a pro, how do you get do you get invited to this thing?
Yeah, there's multiple ways. Obviously, you gotta have the skills as a racer.
Okay.
But there's a lot of politics involved, right? It's like, whether if you can gain sponsorships, that helps. If you can provide your own capital investment, that helps.
Oh wow, you have to provide that stuff?
Well, a lot of the amateur drivers for the Le Mans are what's called gentleman drivers.
Gentleman driver, okay.
Yeah. They have a great documentary on Netflix called Gentleman Drivers. So what these guys are, it could be girls too, they're like business tycoons. So
the amateurs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they invest in the team, so they give the team some money, which the team always needs because to have a racing team is super expensive.
Really?
So they almost kind of buy the seat.
Oh, okay.
But they get to live their dream, right?
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of these guys are good drivers. So that's a way to get onto it. Basically, whatever value, monetarily, exposure, marketing-wise, that you can bring to the team, there's an opportunity there. So, I'm going at it from every single angle. And it's also like who you know, all that stuff. So,
it's always who you know, man.
I'll find a way.
So, okay, in your mind, projecting how or when?
2025.
Oh shit! Damn. You already was in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
damn. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
is that like a hefty goal or like something reasonable or like you're rushing or like?
I think no matter how you slice it, it's a hefty goal.
Okay.
Is it reasonable? I think there's value in being unreasonable, right? Especially if
you shoot
high. It goes back to goals. When you set goals, you should set deadlines. Because if you don't set deadlines, you don't put a deadline on yourself, next thing you know, it's 20 years down the line, you still haven't fulfilled that goal. And on top of it, it puts it on a timeline, and it makes the goal more specific. So as opposed to like, I'm just going to be an amateur racer. Cool. Or a pro racer. Cool. What does that mean? It's generic, right?
Yeah. There's no direction in that.
Yeah, you got to be more detailed with it. Be like, I'm a pro racer for the Porsche factory team on June 21st, 2025 in my purple livery Porsche GT3 RSR cup car with my teammates, yada, 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 at the 24-hour Le Mans circuit.
I don't even know what the hell
and
you
then,
said right
then
now.
that puts a picture in your brain, right?
No, it really does, yeah.
and it also gives you a goal to shoot for. So like when you're more clear about where you're going, your path is more clear.
That's a fact.
So yeah.
That's a big fact.
Yeah.
That's a big fact. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man. But so to be a racer,
Yeah.
right? What do you think you're lacking that you need, or what's your strength right now that you could rely on to get to that level?
Yeah. I mean, strength, determination, commitment, beast mode mentality.
Always.
Being a cleaner, passion, hard work. Like there's a lot of times where like I'm driving to the racetrack on a Friday night, and it's like after like 60, 70 hour week. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm exhausted, but mentally, physically. I get to the hotel that I'm staying at or whatever before the racetrack day. And then I get to I'm on 3 hours of sleep average for the last few nights, but you know what, I'm going. I'm not making excuses. I have no choice. If I want this goal, I got to put in the time.
Yes.
So it's that just that dog mentality.
That determination.
Because I'm hungry, and it's championship mindset too. That like, I'll have a lot of disappointments. There's been a lot of times where like, I've crashed my car. My car got stolen recently, but luckily it was recovered. Those are times where I could have quit, but no, this is too important for me to quit. I'm not going to go out like that. So, I mean, that's what I bring. I think where I lack also is just the experience. I don't have those 10,000 hours.
You could always get that, right?
Yeah.
If you're willing to get that.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's what I lack. And, but yeah, I mean, there's no shortcuts to it. I just got to put in the time. So, it's gonna happen.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I mean, that's again, I couldn't get complacent here and be like, you know what, quote unquote made it, as I achieved my dream of being an orthopedic surgeon, but I'm not done, and this motivates me even more. It all ties together, right? It all coincides. It's like, okay, the more successful I am in orthopedics, potentially the more I can carve out time to put towards my racing pursuits, so it feeds itself.
Yes.
So that's what I like about it.
Yeah, feed the beast, man.
Yeah.
So Doc,
Yeah.
closing statements.
Yeah.
If anyone that wants to be in the medical field, or don't want to be in the medical field, or just want to pursue their dreams, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, I know it's cliche, but find that thing in your life. Have come across that thing in our life that we just love, whether as a kid, as a young adult, whatever. We're like, it just meant something.
Yes.
It was like love at first sight.
Mm-hmm. Damn, yeah.
Kind of roll with that, find that, or if you haven't found it, just think about the past. Think about what was that moment, and roll with it. It's like people think, these days with all the opportunity, you can make it whatever you want to make it.
Yes.
Like
especially this time of day.
we were rapping before, right? Like with what you do, like you can make whatever you want to make out of this, right?
Yes.
You don't have to follow the blueprint, because like you can make new blueprints.
Yeah.
I think this day and age, being a disruptor is valuable. So like, with the medical field, if you're going in it for the money, for the status, the bottom will fall out on that, because you got to have passion for it, because passion is what sees you through the hard times. That's what kind of pushes you
over the hump.
Yeah, and then and that's what helps you put your heart, your dedication into it, and make sure that if you're becoming a doctor, you're doing it for the right reasons. You do it because you love it. You love reading about it. You love studying about it. You love learning about it. You love helping people. All that stuff. You love challenges. Just that's the reason to do it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to haters. Be like,
there's always gonna be haters, man. No matter what you do, where
Yeah.
you're at, doesn't matter. You're doing good, doing bad. They're gonna hate.
Because I hear a lot of doctors say, I'm going to tell my kids not to go into medicine. You know what? If that's my kid's dream, I'm going to back that up, right? You know, like
Sounds like a good parent to me.
yeah, if my kid's dream is to be a skateboarder, I'm gonna back that up. You know, at least I'm gonna have him give it a shot, right?
That makes sense.
So because once you have that, I mean, you've seen time and time again. You know, people like Tony Hawk, right?
Yeah.
That guy didn't go into skateboarding because for the money.
No,
Because like back then there was no money in it.
Yeah.
But like, look what he created.
Like you said, disruptor.
Yeah. And you know, like he's obviously done well, but he did it because he loved it. So he created an industry.
That's
And,
fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking wild, kid.
Yeah.
See that? Disruptor.
Disruptor. Yeah.
If you leave today, Dr. Fabi tells you to be a disruptor.
Yeah.
Be a good parent. Support your kids, man.
Limitless. Be a cleaner. Be a cleaner.
Hell yeah, cleaner, man.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the show, Dr. Fabi, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Sky was never the limit, right? You know,
Chopping it up,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.